Every YouTube fragrance reviewer's main goal in life.
Pulling unsolicited compliments from people around me.
What happens when I arrive at a party in a dress and high heels?
Compliments are gonna be given.
The smell of my unwashed underpants.
Big compliment puller.
Wearing a Hawaiian shirt and shorts to a funeral.
It kind of goes without saying that this would be a big compliment puller.
What reminds me that I'm a worthwhile human being?
Compliments.
Turning up to a fancy dress party dressed as Benito Mussolini.
That's the way to go if you're looking for attention, compliments, etc.
Wearing a baseball cap with a rotating propeller on top to a bar.
Mind-blowing compliments.
What happened when I wore an I Like the Pope Smokes Dope t-shirt for an entire week non-stop?
I cannot overstate to you how many unsolicited compliments I pulled. It was legitimately every single day.
The fact no YouTuber wants the watching imbeciles to know.
You can't really evaluate compliment factor when you're just smelling it on your own.
The smell of me breaking wind at work the morning after an Indian takeaway.
Multiple compliments.
Hi guys, welcome back to the show. So today we're going to have a really interesting episode. It's about Creed Aventus, the most talked about fragrance maybe, certainly on YouTube probably, of the last decade. An incredible fragrance released in 2010 by the House of Creed, and there's a great story behind this one. It's a really fascinating story, and the story is told in this book, The Ghost Perfumer, by Gabe Oppenheim. I've reviewed I've read the book, most of it now, and I've interviewed Gabe about the book overall once, and I've had him on a live stream. Guys, please do subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this kind of content. I think I bring something a little bit different to the game, and a subscription is a great way to make sure you won't miss videos like this. Thank you. So what I haven't told you, or really what we haven't really gone into yet, is the specific story of Creed Aventus. So in the previous interview, we talked about the history of the House of Creed with Gabe. This fascinating book reveals some secrets, and it basically tells you the story that the thing that Creed tell us, that they were making perfumes for the royal courts of Europe, and that Cary Grant wore green Irish tweed. These stories, according to this book, may not be quite true. Now, I'm going to relate what is said in the book for legal reasons. I'm going to say these are not necessarily my views. I'm just going to tell you the story that we get in this great book by Gabe Oppenheim. I will link where you can buy the book in the description of this video, but I'm not sponsored. I don't have any affiliation with this guy, but he did very kindly send me the book for free. So today's video is about Aventus. I'm going to give you the backstory of what happened before that. Aventus 2010 release. What we found out before that in this book is basically that the House of Creed, as we know it today, essentially began really to emerge only in the 1980s, according to this book, which has been extensively researched from primary sources, the people involved, and with things like particularly green Irish tweed, apparently supposedly created by Olivier Creed, the main man at the House of Creed. Well, according to the book and according to Pierre Bourdon, the perfumer himself, Pierre Bourdon made it, the man who also did many things like Joop from Wolfgang Joop and Chorus. He was the ghost perfumer, like a ghost writer. He wasn't credited with making the perfume, but he did it. Now, when it comes to Aventus, many people have wondered, did Pierre Bourdon do this one? Well, the fact is, no, he didn't. But we're going to find out today about his protege, the guy that he trained up, the young perfumer that he helped pass on his magic secrets to, and the young perfumer who made this incredible fragrance but doesn't seem to get much public recognition at all for it. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. Let's get into the story. Here we go. Okay, so the story starts with Pierre Bourdon, the creator of Green Irish Tweed and Bois de Portugal, and many of the, if not most of the famous Creed fragrances predating Aventus, at least if you believe what's written in this book. Pierre Bourdon gave Joop, as we say in England, one of his earlier creations from the late 80s as a gift to an employee at the factory which Pierre Bourdon was involved in, the perfume factory. And this employee it was a gift for him to give to his son. This son, one Jean-Christophe Hérault. Apparently he loved it. He was a very young guy. He made it his signature scent and was crazy about this scent, which of course smells pretty darn different to Aventus or any other Creed fragrance. Well, except actually, yeah, many people say that that one does smell pretty similar to original Santal, but that's another story. Okay, now this youngster, Jean-Christophe Hérault, has not yet decided to be a perfumer, but after university, his dad offers him a job in this perfume place where they work under Pierre Bourdon, the lab of the Fragrance Resources Factory. And the brave young man went up to Pierre Bourdon one day and said he wanted to become a perfumer, asked him for some tips. Bourdon said no, because all he'd asked for really was some tips. He wanted to go and work maybe with Givaudan, the famous perfume producers who produce fragrances for many, many big brands. But Bourdon then said, I'm going to train you. And he took him under his wing. He sent him off to Grasse in the south of France to smell some ingredients and get acquainted with some of the most important, the best lavender, some of the best ingredients that France has to offer. They were based up in the north of France, so the south of France, and Grasse is the place where you have to go to smell the best ingredients. He trained the young hero for 8 years, starting in 2000, and that leads us up, of course, then finishing, I guess, a couple of years before the creation and release of Creed's Aventus. Another interesting revelation in this book is the pineapple thing that Aventus is so famous for. So apparently Pierre Bourdon had been very, very interested in the pineapple note, and a list of his post-2000 creations, some of his later kind of works, because it seems he pretty much stopped somewhere between about 2005 and 2010. He really stops making fragrances on a regular basis professionally. We got fragrances with a pineapple top notes such as Francesco Smolto's Full Choke, Cabaret Homme by Grès, Escada Magnetism, and others are listed in the book. Interesting quote also from Luca Turin about this note of pineapple, which is so key, of course, in Aventus. He has a little quote here which was emailed to the author of the book. The butyric esters and the green pineapple note of allyl amyl glycolate go all the way back to the 20s, and Patou's colony, so Bourdon, may he be blessed, is following a long tradition. So Luca Turin, clearly a fan of Pierre Bourdon. So Pierre Bourdon became a little bit, you could say, fixated on the pineapple note. He'd sought, apparently in the 80s, to quadruple the amount of pineapple in Drakkar Noir. Now, it's not listed as a note, but apparently there's something, I don't know about all these chemicals, but something called Galbex and allyl amyl glycolate was found in Drakkar Noir. He'd really amped that up to make Cool Water, and of course Cool Water closely related to his other creation for Creed, allegedly green Irish tweed. So this is what's going on with this pineapple. I don't know. Is this the pineapple note the same that's in Aventus? I'm not aware that Cool Water's officially got pineapple in it, but this chemical seems to be key in what he did in creating Cool Water, which was influenced a little bit by things like Drakkar Noir. Interesting stuff. Canali for Men, 2005, a Pierre Bourdon creation, has a pineapple top note. Apparently, though, Hérault, by this time, actually did 95% of the work there. Bourdon just signed it off as the more prestigious perfumer. So, at some point very shortly after this, Bourdon kind of goes away from making perfume professionally on a regular basis, it would appears. Okay, now, something disappointing did happen for Pierre Bourdon in this time, because allegedly it had been a verbal agreement that, having only been paid for with a few rather nice Creed-tailored suits for his earlier ghost-written perfumes for them, he was supposed to get a rather big financial payout on his retirement. He didn't. I'll move on from that quickly, but that's allegedly what happened. So, of course, at this point, Olivier Creed, if he's going to keep releasing amazing-smelling perfumes, he needs a new, what we're going to call a ghostwriter, and in comes Jean-Christophe Hérault, Bourdon's, at this point, most notable student, I guess, and also, according to the book, inverted commas, the most vulnerable. I'm not sure exactly what he means by that. So, he needs a new masculine scent, and Olivier Creed offered Hérault a new musk and the opportunity to make this new fragrance. This new musk is very, very key. According to the book, it had only been made in the 1990s, and I think it's a captive ingredient. Only Creed can use it. It's an salicylic musk. Oppenheim is forbidden to mention it by the person who told him about it, which I guess is Mr. Hérault himself. And it's a very fresh, fruity, and at the same time kind of warm one. A little bit like something like Hedione, in my view, in its effect, that it's just this kind of hard to put your finger on. It's sexy ingredient for a fragrance. So heady, hormonal, playful musk is how the book describes it. Hérault agrees and says, I'll use your favourite new ingredient, this fantastic new musk that Creed is offering him, but I want to use ambroxan because I'm really into that. So I guess that's the ambergris note, in inverted commas, in Creed, or is there some real ambergris in there too? There may well be, I really don't know. So the quote from Hérault here, this is what he says to Olivier Creed: the fragrance at its core will be ambroxan ensconced in this musk. So apparently this musk is so good it could really be it could almost be a fragrance on its own. The essence of Aventus is in this magical musk, which we don't know the name of. So fascinating stuff here, but it's clearly Jean-Christophe Hérault, not primarily Olivier Creed, or maybe not at all really Olivier Creed, who's working on the perfume, although credit to him really, because he has got the musk that is the key thing that lifts maybe this fragrance to another new and incredible level. Guys, if you want to buy fragrance samples in North America, you need to go to myfragrancesamples.com, an amazing place, great range of fragrances, and a great guy, Mark, who runs it. I've got a code for you, Mr15, link in the description. That code gets you 15% off. They ship in the USA, Puerto Rico, and Canada. Check them out, guys. Another interesting side point, in 2009, Hérault authors the perfume Canali Dal 1934, which I think I might have to track down. This is an evolution of the aforementioned Canali fragrance, and this Canali Dal 1934 has pineapple, blackcurrant, musk, and ambergris, but it lacks the new musk that Olivier Creed is offering and the ambroxan ingredients. So Hérault admits that this was indeed very much a prototype Aventus, and it's kind of a primitive, I think the author calls this one a Neanderthal type version of Aventus. Interesting, I have to track that one down. So hence now Jean-Christophe Hérault has the chance to spend a lot more on ingredients. Very important to note that Oppenheim, in speaking to Pierre Bourdon and Jean-Christophe Hérault, it appears that Creed definitely do offer their perfumers very big budgets in terms of the quality of the ingredients, more so perhaps than some other houses. And this may account for the fabulous quality of the fragrances, if you believe they are a little bit special. I do, but not everyone does. So Hérault gets permission to use these ingredients. He is the ghost perfumer to make Aventus, and interestingly enough, Olivier Creed's so grateful that he has explicitly given Hérault permission to say that he is the perfumer for Creed Aventus, although of course officially it's still Olivier Creed if you go on the websites and things. So fascinating stuff. That's the story of how it came into being. We then get a little bit more information in the book that us perfume aficionados already probably know all about the fantastic success of the fragrance, the millions of pounds that it's made, or dollars. And really this fragrance elevated the company, not totally on its own, but it was perhaps one of the key factors. It elevated the company to the point where they were such a big deal, so successful that they could be bought up by BlackRock in 2020 for a huge sum of money. Creed Aventus, the juicy pineapple fragrance with this fantastic musk in it, this fruitiness, this ambroxan base, this kind of sexiness, this sweetness, a little bit of vanilla in there, the beautiful combination of juicy pineapple, bergamot, high quality ingredients that has made it such a huge success. So many clones, from cheap things like Armaf Club de Nuit Intense Man to other houses doing their own versions of it, be it you've got the designer houses like Mont Blanc Explorer is based, I think we can say, probably on Aventus. You've got things like Pineapple Vintage with multiple versions, but perhaps none of them, I don't know, perhaps none of them can use this captive musk, and that's why they never quite nail it. And then you've got other fragrance houses, prestigious ones like MDCI's Blue Satin, clearly a little bit influenced, very much, by Aventus. That's the true story, guys, according to the book. Okay, so there it was, guys. That is the story. As I say, I'm just telling you what it says in the book. I'm not making any allegations. For me, I love Creed fragrances. I'm going to do some more videos about them. This book has reignited my love for the fragrances that are so good. Even if some of the stories about their historical background, I don't mind. It's fun. It's just marketing. The things smell great. They're a bit expensive. But for me, yeah, they are worth it. I think they do smell of pure quality, and I reckon they do use higher quality ingredients than a lot of other people. I can't prove it, but that's just my taste, my nose. I love Creed fragrances. Let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. I will see you in the next video. Remember, whatever you're doing in life, let's project. And sometimes life may stink, but we can always smell good, especially if we're wearing the King Aventus.